What does this look like to you? Yes. It looks like a cane. And indeed, there are days when I sort of need it as a cane. What else does it look like? Yes.
Like a shepherd's staff.
Like a shepherd's staff, indeed. Yes. It is called a crozier, or shepherd's staff, or shepherd's crook, because it has this crook part at the top. Can I tell you 3 interesting things about my crozier? First of all, it's made of ash. That's a wood. Feel the wood. Feel how smooth it is. Isn't it nice and smooth? Yeah. Does anybody know what else is made out of ash?
Baseball bats.
Baseball bats. Although, you know, nowadays they're made from some space-age polymer of some kind. But in the good old days when baseball was really baseball, bats were made out of ash. There's one, this is the second thing to tell you. There's another thing that ash is used for, and that is for baskets. The native peoples in Maine, where I was bishop for 10.5 years, they have treaty rights to every ash tree in the state. If you have an ash tree in your front yard, the members of the Penobscot Nation, or the Micmac, or the Maliseet, those are the 3 native nations in Maine, they can come harvest ash off of your yard without any say-so from you. Why is that? Because baskets, this will keep a nice bend. Ash is good for baskets. Back before the native folks, or anybody, had electricity and a refrigerator, they made these great, huge baskets. Big. Can you put your arms out? Everybody, really, even bigger than your arms. These great, huge baskets. And they would put fish in the baskets and submerge the baskets in the ocean. So that's how they would keep their important protein source handy. No refrigerators, but they would just make these great baskets, and the fish would have water coming in through the basket slats, but they would be in one place, so you could go help yourself to fish for dinner. Nowadays, they make baskets and sell them to visitors. Have you seen those baskets that are woven that you wear on your back? They have kind of a leather strap. Those are probably made by a Penobscot Indian. So this is ash. When I was elected bishop in Maine, people said, "What do you want to do about your crozier?" Now you can buy them from church suppliers. But I said, oh no, I want them up in the Penobscot Nation to make me a crozier. And so I'm going to hand this to the front row here, and I'm going to describe something amazing. In order for them to make that crozier for me, I had to come and sit in a circle around a campfire with them. And they said, we get to ask you questions, so we know how to decorate your crozier. Now, I've been through lots of interviews with commissions on ministry and nominating committees and search committees. I have never in my life been asked as many hard questions as those people asked me. They really went deep. They didn't just say, what are your hobbies and interests? What books do you like to read? What's your leadership style? They said, what are you really made of? You know, what's your character? What are the things that matter to you? What are the things that you would put yourself out for? What values are important to you? After about an hour and a half of this, they shared some soup with me and they said, okay, we think we know you now. And so when I was consecrated a bishop, a whole group of the Penobscot Nation, the leaders of the nation, presented me with this crozier. And they just took the microphone. They said, Bishop, this is the seal of the Diocese of Maine. This is the seal of hospitality. Can you see it looks like open teepees all around there? So it's a little band all around. for hospitality, because we believe you're a person of hospitality, welcoming folks. And then we believe that you love life. And so we've given you a vine. A vine. What are you going to want to know? There is a feather. I thought you'd never ask. And this feather, can y'all see that feather at the very top? It's a single feather.
Wait, I can't see.
You can't see. Can you see now? Can you see now? Tell me why that feather is there. Say it. Because what? That is such a cool answer. You are one person who works with God. That's an important one. There's only one feather, and you are onto it. This feather is an eagle feather. In the native symbol system, eagle feather means great leader. And they said, Bishop, we're putting that feather right where you're going to look at it every time you hold it. And you remember that you are called to be a great leader to your people. And I love that. I love that. There are a few other decorations on it. You can see that it's got the month and the day of my consecration, March 1998. And that, my friend, is a vine. Did you hear the Bible today about Jesus said, I am the vine and you are the branches? Well, vines are important. Why is a vine important? This is what I'll finish up by saying to you. Yes?
The vine helps everything else like grow, and then the vine like is like, and then roots.
The roots and the vine just kind of spread everywhere. Yes, sir?
Vines take out big trees so other things can grow.
Vines can be invasive, you're right, and they can make room for other growth. Good point. The vine is like God. Amen, sister. You know what? I can just preach the rest of the sermon right here. How about? Do y'all mind sitting for another minute? When Jesus says, I am the vine, he's not saying, I am the tree and you are the branches. In a tree, there's a big, vertical, woody, sturdy, big, strong, extra large piece, right? In a tree, called the trunk, and the vines come off of it. The branches come off. In a grapevine, particularly, all of the vines are interconnected with one another, and there is no central vine. That's why grapes don't grow by themselves. They need support, don't they? They need a trellis, or they need a pergola, or they need an arbor, or they need some kind of external frame. So Jesus is saying, I am the vine, and you are the branches of the vine. You can't grow and bear fruit unless you're attached to me, unless you are in me. And his favorite word, what word did you hear 9 times in the reading about how Jesus wants us to be with him?
Abide.
Abide. Yep. 9 times in those few verses, the word abide. The word abide doesn't mean hang out, or be with, or be friends with. It literally means make your home with. Dwell with. So when Jesus says, abide in me, and I will abide in you, he's talking about being so close that we and Jesus are like the same. We are so close and together. Hello, just in time to come join our children's sermon. Yeah, thank you. I'm going to let you take a look at my stick while I finish up with the grown-ups here. And 1 more minute. Friends, my sister is married to a man whose family owns a vineyard. And I have learned so much about vines and vineyards, I could go on forever. I won't. But I want to say one thing, and that is, as grapes grow, they not only are attached to a central vine that sort of weaves them together, but they also, when they're climbing, they're on a trellis or a pergola or an arbor, as they grow, they also hold on to each other. One part of grapes that we see sometimes if you're in the grocery store is you see these little extra, by the time they're in the store, dried up ends. Those are actually tendrils of grapes that curl around each other. And so the picture Jesus is painting for us is not only abiding in him, but also abiding with one another. And that's what we do. We are that close to Jesus, and we end up wrapped up with our lives, with each other, in Jesus. Thank you, boys and girls. Thank you, grown-up boys and girls.